Yeah, this is going to be a real big pain in the butt. 3% gap down is like, I mean, it's almost too much, right? I mean, at that point, you're down 10 points. The ATR in the Qs is like 11. So if you're gapping down 10 points, like you're really in for a shit box. So what's going to happen today is like now, okay, you've got a big, you've got obviously the breakdown in the market. Then, right, we had kind of a dead cat bounce in the 200 SMA. Now we're rolling over. So you have essentially a breakdown pullback set up in the market, but the big hairy butt of it all is, at a 3% gap down, you're going to suck out a lot of the range at the open, like this stuff like Roblox and shit. It's already down 7%. So like, what are you really going to do? So you're going to have two dichotomies today. It's like the price action is going to be too weak to bounce effectively, but we've gapped down too much to be able to short into the hole, right? You can't short into the hole. So there's two aspects of this. And, we're probably going to have to try for a quick flip for long at the open, possibly. But the easier play, I think, is going to be to wait out the open for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. Let this some of the gap fill, and then we'll start to see if we're going to refade. I think that's going to be the easier play. With Facebook, just getting dusted, you know what? Fuck these guys, right? I have to advertise on them, and the ROI stinks. Fuck these guys. In general, this is like 76 points. This is going to be probably unplayable today for the most part. Unplayable. You may see some people try to flip this thing long for a little bit of a bounce, but I don't think that's not really a high probability, no stress trade. I think the play today is like, you got to wait out the open, let some of this gap fill, let it bounce up a little bit. And then, if it fails off, then we start looking to try to fade some stuff, and we'll see what's going on. You can't really, I don't think we can buy anything today for longer than a few minutes, most likely. Like there's zero chance that I'm stepping in front of that train. Even yesterday we were shorting most of the day anyways. Like even yesterday with the market flat, all the easier plays were on the short side regardless. Let's take a look at any other earnings plays, see if there's anything with the PR out there that you guys may be able to wet your beaks on, and then we'll kind of dig in and see what are like the general market related plays that we can go in today. Junk. So on a day like today, down 3%, no small caps. I mean, you got to be a pure degenerate to trade small caps anyways in a bear market, especially regular stocks are all moving around like 10, 20 points. Sometimes it's a daddy issue. Sometimes it's a gambling issue. But regardless, you're in that 1% of muck. And you don't want to be there. You can dig yourself out of there by not doing it. There's other things to trade today. Let's go in junk. So these are all inverse ETS. Man, there might not be any good earnings plays today. Let's see what's going on here. I think Penn had earnings out. Let me get my earnings whisperer up. All right, let's take a look here. Yeah, Penn had its earnings out. Only about a 2% move down. But you know what? This is like kind of nuzzled into resistance. That could actually work on the short side. Let's add this bad boy in for a potential ORB. Fuck Penn. This is a good spot over here. Not really much of a reaction just yet, but this is going to have some juice on it. Let's add that in. Looks like Mark's had their earnings out today. It's in a weird location. They'll probably leave that alone. Oh, Eli Lilly also. Leave alone. Double B. Now this I can get behind. If it's got liquidity here, you've got a really clean breakdown. When you're looking at earnings plays, like what you really want to do is think, okay, like, do I have levels that I can trade around? Like, am I clearing levels of supply demand? Do I've got bases to trade around? you've got yourself a nice location on this. It's going to be pretty clean if it starts to bust loose down here. Now you can't chase it down 4%, and it's also going to be really light on liquidity. Only about 20,000 shares into pre-market. But that's probably going to have some good, solid, God-fearing Christian range right there. Let's add that in. ConocoPhillips, junk, Alco junk, Ralph Lauren. So this is like, okay, so you got some levels over here too. The big question is like, do you really want to long a retail stock, the teeth of a bear market on a day where the market may dump off? Probably not, but this is something like, look, if the market does firm up, this is something that's actually probably going to be, if it can hold, this is probably something that's worth a gander over here. Because you got like a big ass base over here. If you come in on an earnings beat and the market actually holds, these are the type of stocks that will start to lead the way. Same thing, right? Like you had UPS had a big gap up on earnings a couple days ago. You had basically an inside day. You had an inside day yesterday. This is the type of stock. If you're going to long something, the market starts to firm up, then this is the type of stock that'll hold up because you got an earnings beat, an earnings breakout, and then an inside day. Usually an inside day after those, like they can be good spots. Like I would actually set an alert and just, if it starts to bust over that level, you can come in hot on it. Now it's a big hairy butt because you would really still need the market to like not shit the bed today. In general, it doesn't matter as much on earnings plays, but we're in a very nasty distribution market where any kind of strength is getting faded off. So you just can't trust it. Checkpoint software. See, this is in no man's land. Leave that alone. Checkpoint software. It just sounds like a great name, but Cummins. What a name for a fucking company. Cummins. Jump. All right, so we don't have really anything that sexy today. Yeah. All right, cool. So we don't got much on the upside for sure. Let's take a look and just see on the downside. This Facebook's going to be like Algo City today. Probably it's a nothing burger for me. If anything, like I'd rather trade the offshoots of it. Look at this fucking snappy chats. I mean, this is incredible. 85. It's still a $50 billion company. Pass. That's a short too. You just can't chase that down. Also, 17%. These will be in play today. The question is just going to be like, you're going to have to really wait out the open. No, in the framework. Yeah, Snapchat, Facebook. So if you're going with that, right, then pins will probably get dusted. I mean, Pinterest is a nice website, but they're all going down today. So you got pins, Bookface, Snappy Chat. Now you got to let them all bounce. They'll probably squeeze up at the open, and then you can see like what's going on. Spot is another one. Spot's a bitch to trade because it's got a huge monster cock spread on it. But like if it bounces up a little bit, that's probably an easy one too. So, I have no interest in playing the Facebook, but I think some of these other ones, they should work. Now you can't chase them down. So just be mindful of the locations. Spotify's another one. This is going to have really good range on it today. I'd add all these. But you got to do a quick pullback short. So quick pullback short is okay. You get the gap down. You let them grind their way back up into resistance and then start looking for a fade. PayPal. This can be a day 2 play, by the way. Watch for yesterday's lows on PayPal. If it holds under there, that one's probably going to get dusted too. And it follows with SQ. Like both of those are going to be. CTTD, like you can't really chase this thing down about 10%, give or take. Yeah, pass. Twitter will probably get dusted today. You got to let them all bounce, though. UPST is another one, right? These are all just breakdown pullback setup, and they all look the same. So, like, you don't have to get too crazy with any of these. Like, this is a firm, right? This is a breakdown pullback setup. Same thing, right? Roblox is a breakdown pullback setup. You don't really, even like, AMD faded off its earnings yesterday. So, like, these are all going to be nasty. Like, see this Baba had a dead cat bounce. Now you're going to start rolling back over. Netflix, right? Breakdown, pull back into resistance, break back over. So the moral of the story is, all the good setups look like they're on the short side, but we can't chase the market down, right? We're down 3%. We'll have to see what's going on. You can see the IWM, just a breakdown, pop into your EMAs. You're starting to roll back over. Now, the SPY had a really big bounce, and you're still way far over its 200-day moving average. So that'll be something to kind of keep mind of, if it starts to hold around here. But the fucking the Qs lost it. So we short, but we got to wait. That's the play. I don't think we really need much else to do. We come in. Hey, Mr. Terry, it was good to see you too. Yeah, so let's go back through this. We got the book face, UPS if we ever do need a loan, which I don't anticipate. BIIB, we got Spotify, we got PayPal, we got SQ2. By the way, keep an eye, these 100 spots usually end up being like good levels. If you lose that, I would say about 103, set an alert there. You lose that 103 at some point, that's going to be a nasty little shredder. Now you can't chase it down 8%, right? That's why sometimes these fucking gaps can be so annoying. You can't chase it down 8%. So you got to let this thing squeeze, right? Let it fill a good chunk of that gap. Watch how it reacts around the EMAs, the VWAP. Start to see if there's a little bit of a marination station going. And then, we'll take this thing down. Word to the wise, the opening flip, like sometimes when you get gap down, right, you'll get the quick, gap fill. That opening bounce is like the toughest trade you can really do because it's a counter trend trade. You got to have like the most dexterous, slippery, nimble fingers possible. It's one of those things like even in the chat room, it'll be like long, and then by the time you hit it in, I'll be out, right? So that's a setup that you got to usually stay away from unless you can actually do it on your own and without chasing it properly because it's very fast. If you're trading the open in this type of market, you're talking, you just have to be so quick. You can't really follow anybody. You have to know exactly what the play is. Like yesterday, right, when we shorted AMD, right, like right off at the open, that's a fucking fast setup. Like as soon as that market opens, fucking wait 10 seconds, boom, like you're in. You got to know those things. You can't just follow because, man, it dropped like $2 in a second. Like if you're sitting there fumbling, like, oh, let me pull up the chart, right? You're already too late. You're shorting where somebody else is covering. So you got to always have these plans ahead. So the gap fill trade today at the open, if we try this, it's going to be a tough one. The easiest play for anybody that's new or just not trading well is wait out the open 15 minutes, maybe 20 if you're feeling froggy, see what's up, and then, try to come in. You're either going to get an ORB to the downside or you'll, pop into the EMAs, and then you'll have just a nice, easy location where you can start to lever into your positions a little bit. Let me go in and just add one other name here. I think this SC's got just incredible range the last few days. This is a breakdown pullback too. It's not the gap down on it's not too bad. That should be okay. Man, fucking Roblox already down only 6%. This is gonna be a tricky one. Yeah, stay away from any junk. I think Rivian is also, so add in Rivian, SE, and they all look the same, right? These all just pop into 20 SMA and roll over. You pick the ones that have the liquidity that you need and the price range that you have success with. And then we're going to let this thing roll. Man, we're about to have some fun today. Just wait. We just got to wait out the open, which is always the hardest thing for any trader because, a lot of times you can have an inkling of which way the market's going to go. And you're like, fuck, this thing is a short. I know this. But like, then it's still a matter of timing, right? If you just get in too early, you get your balls dusted. And then after so many paper cuts, you're like, I actually value these balls. And so then you stop trading and then it ends up happening the way you thought it was going to happen. We're going to have to wait out the open today. Just a tad. And let's watch these, all these social companies for a little bit of a bounce later. And they'll probably squeeze off. Like you can't really cap down 100 points on a big time stock. But at some point, we'll come in. They're uncomfortable, Monica. You got to constantly shift them around. You go to the gym and you got to like move them around. And then you got to hope like nobody's watching because you're at the gym and that'd just be weird. Like you don't want somebody to put it on their TikTok, 40-year-old Indian man adjusts his balls at the gym. But then the worst part is like, even if you do it and you think you get away, like you got to make sure you don't do. Because that's when you could get shamed and ostracized really outside the gym community. The reach down is not the big deal. It's the all right, that's the list. SE, Rivian, NVIDIA, AMD, Penn, social companies, America. God bless you all. Let's do this. Armando, I sent you a present yesterday. For the first time in 3 years, I told somebody I was going to mail them a Bulls on Wall Street hat, and I actually did it. I am changing, guys. I've grown. I'm showing growth in many ways. Let's have some fun today. Remember, wait out that open and pray. Oh, free. Mm-hmm.